Hey mates, and welcome to Blindformers. I'm your host Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be talking about the father of transformation. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Amalgamis Prime. Now, Amalgamis Prime from Transformers Age of the Primes is a unique Transformer. He's one of the more unique Transformers that I've ever come across. He's creative, and he's he's just he's got something. It's just kind of, he's such an alien Transformer, and it works for him being more of a robotic Transformer than any of the others. Like, he's got a bipedal mode, but it's not bipedal. He's got 4 arms and 2 legs, but his legs fold backwards like chicken legs. He's weird. He's a weird Transformer in robot mode. But today we're going to talk about him, and he's not weird in a bad way. He's weird. It's unique. Now, there's some aspects of him that are really, really cool, and there's some aspects of him that I don't really like. And today we're going to cover as much of him as we possibly can, and nowhere near can we cover everything. It's just, he has so many different ways to combine him and move him around. It is difficult to get him, actually, for instance, I don't even know if this is the robot mode that came in the box. I'm pretty sure it's not. I've done switched him up so many times, I'm not sure anymore. Instead, I made this robot mode that has these segments. So on one side of his core area, you've got these grid pattern things, like a like a catwalk or something. And then on the other side, you've got these panels that kind of fold into each other, but if you pull them each out, they make sort of a weird neck thing. And it's similar to a brontosaurus sans the head. And then you can put the head of Amalgamus on it, and there's 2 ways you can put Amalgamis's head. Like, you can fold up the top of his thing, his little crest area, and you get this weird rounded head feeling thing, and that's a way you can display it. Or you can flip it around to the other side, which is the one I like, and it's got a single eye with a little line on each side of the eye, and the eye is inside of this bigger head unit, reminding me a lot of Shockwave. So I like his Shockwave look more than anything else. I think it just works for him being a weird robot of all robots. Like, he is the most robotic of the robots that we've covered when it comes to the 13 Primes. He's just got it when it comes to that feel and that textures and the sculpt work for him. It just screams robot over anything else. This is not any of this guy doesn't hide. He instead transforms into things that are utilitarian. His transformations are all for different jobs that he may be required to do, and I think that's pretty neat. And it's also neat that he's more of a combination of drones, where this guy feels more like a Nexus Prime than Nexus Prime feels, because he's got a bunch of little things that combine together to create him. And we're going to go in depth with that in today's episode of Blindformers, so please like, share, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's begin by just talking the proportions for this mode that I have him in, which may not necessarily be the mode that you get him out of the box, and I'm sorry for that. I forgot how to do the other one. It isn't like I can read the instructions. So we're going to pull out Nexus Prime. Talking about Nexus Prime. Nexus Prime is also a Voyager class, so I figured Voyager next to Voyager to give you an idea. Now, when Amalgamus is in the mode that I have him in, his shoulder is actually lower than Nexus Prime's shoulder, and his head, if we were to point them like straight out, his head actually comes down to just around the same area as the crotch for Nexus Prime. Keep your dirty thoughts to yourselves, people. All right, it's not like that. They ain't from Kentucky, okay? So, these brothers don't kiss. Now we put them back to back, and we've got we see that the backpack for Nexus here is it's taller than Amalgamus by a good portion. I'd say, by two of my fingers, stacked one on top, my middle finger, my pointer finger. It's about that height off the back of Amalgamus, at the top of it, not even counting this grid area, this little grated area that's deeper into the figure. Now, weight-wise, they're about the same. Yeah, they're about the same weight. And articulation-wise, well, Actually, Nexus is got a lot better articulation than Amalgamis, and we'll talk about that. And part of it has to do with Amalgamis liking to fall apart a lot. Now, let's go ahead and switch out Nexus here for Micronus. Now, Micronus's head. So if we put Micronus face to face with Amalgamis, we get that Amalgamis's face is almost lined up with Micronus's power armor's face. It's just a little lower. The top of Micronus's faceplate actually goes to the collarbone for Micronus here. Now, shoulder-wise, the top of Amalgamis's shoulder is still taller than the top of Micronus's shoulder, to give you an idea of dimensions there when it comes to them. Now, he is actually a lot wider than Micronus too. He's a bunch wider than Micronus. Now let's put Micronus off to the side and let's talk about another figure. A little comparison of another weird need figure. We have Onyx Prime. Onyx, which is like, I see why you can't find Onyxes for very cheap. He's such a cool Transformer. And please watch my episode where I covered him, because I thought this is a unique triple changer. And no other Transformer in this grouping is a triple changer as far as I know. So he's the only triple changer. And it works as him being the father of beast, modes and the father of triple changers. So he pulls double duty there. Now we're going to put back to back, and definitely a size difference in the two. His shoulders are way higher than Amalgamis's shoulders, even taller than what Nexus was. And he keeps wanting to fall forwards because he's got a very heavy top. This guy's very, very top heavy. I wish they'd put more weight in his legs, but oh well. Oh, there's Onyx and Amalgamis side to side. Weight-wise, Onyx wins, but Amalgamis is definitely just so funky. He's like a four-armed dwarf who, instead of having a head on the top of a neck, just kind of stretched his neck out from the front of his chest and put a head there. Now we're going to put Onyx over here, and hopefully he doesn't fall over. And our final little size comparison guy is going to be the More Than Meets the Eye Optimus Prime, which I absolutely adore. I think that everybody should get one, because it's the cheapest way to get such an amazing mold. And here they are face to face, except that Amalgamis's face goes below the crotch area, actually midway up the thigh for the Optimus Prime in the SS86 mold. Now, shoulder-wise, Optimus Prime's shoulder is just immensely larger. It's such a weird comparison of the two. Prime is such a sleek, tall robot, and then you get Amalgamis is just kind of down here. He's down in the mud kind of thing. All right, so that's all of the comparisons I have for you. Without a further ado, let's get into talking about the figure's robot mode quickly, and then we'll move into talking about how to transform him, or at least the transformations I've discovered. So I have his transformation cogs. He comes with two of them, one on each shoulder to kind of give him these cool shoulder pauldrons with a little circle bit and little claw bits that stick down. I think that's fun. That's why they're there. And then we have his head, of course, on this long neck apparatus. You can even get this neck to stretch out a bit further. I have his little bitty gun that's up here at the very top where his head used to go for another mode. So there's a siege port at the top where you can plug his head in if you want, but I like this form of his head. Now, his arms are below this crazy trunk neck thing that he has, and there are, of course, 4 of them, 2 on each side. Sadly, they don't combine together. I think it'd been cool if they could combine together to create like a mega arm. That would be really neat, and it feels like they almost want to do that, but then these arm bits kind of get in the way of each other, and that's a shame. Like, I think it'd be really cool if this was able to do that, but I don't think it can, and it's just kind of a shame. But one of his arms is half of an airplane, and the other arm is half of a car, and then he's got a very, very stiff kind of open C-clamp hand on each of those arms. So that's 4 hands, 4 arms, 2 parts of a plane and 2 parts of a car. And the car ones I am a little annoyed by, where instead of putting both wheels on one side, they came up with a bright idea of putting one wheel on each side. And so when you combine these car pieces together, you'll see it makes a very long, thin car. I just don't like it. That's kind of the biggest negative on this guy, is the stupid car. I do wish that they were each on one side so that you could combine them in different ways to kind of give his other modes different variations on wheels. Instead, you just kind of got a chariot bit going. Now, let's talk about his hip area. Well, we'll talk some more on textures, because this dude does have some textures. They're in here, and it's very odd. The most part about them is they're filled with a bunch of these panels that are smooth and kind of shiny feeling, and it feels like this guy could just transform into anything at any point with these different panels. Like, we're only getting a glimpse of his possible transformations with this figure, with how some of these panels feel on this figure. Now we come around here to the groin area. He's got this crazy big kind of buckle for his belt area. It's very large, and it kind of comes down to a delta pattern and brings up and has a little bit of a line that slopes to connect nearly one point to the other point, which kind of makes it feel like a V-shaped vase that's filled with fluid. Then we come down here below that. We've got some more textures on the crotch area. I really like that does have so much texture. And then you come over here to the thighs, and one of the legs just fell off talking about the thighs, but oh well. Now the thighs here are really neat, and let's see. They're ratcheted on the side on the side pivot, which is really cool, but they don't really pivot that far because of the way that they're structured. So they only have a movement of a little bit, and then they have a stiff up and down motion. Now, they also have an eternal knee, which is a shame. It would have been cool if there was a joint in here to give this knee the ability to rotate, so that you can have him standing straight up if you wanted, instead of giving him these backward knees. But you connect this treaded lower leg section into the thigh area, and that's his legs, because that treaded section is his foot. And then we come up here to the side of it, and we've got kind of these bracer things, these things that stand up that actually hold the gun when we're in the transformation modes. And he also has ankle pivot, and yeah, not much motion with the legs. I mean, the knees, you can pull the knees all the way back and kind of have him like he's standing straight up-ish, but it doesn't, it just looks weird. He looks weird in a lot of his ways to try and your best to get him to stand up taller. Like, if you pull the knees out all the way, he kind of just bends down and his face almost touches the ground. It's so weird. So, let's get into his combinations real quick. We're going to pull out his legs at the knee, and then we're going to come up here and we're going to pull off his face. So take off his head, and his head's another component. Take off the tiny gun on top of him. That's another component. Take off the big gun on his shoulder. That's another component. We're going to take off this arm. That's half of a plane. We're going to come around here to the other side. We're going to find the other half of a plane arm. There's the other half of the plane arm. And then we've got our two little car arms. Where's the other car arm? All right, so here's our two car arms. And then we can take off these little transformation cogs from their siege ports that are located on either side of this big center area, just above the shoulder points. So we're going to put our cogs on the side. We can just do whatever we want with those. They're not really necessary for any of these parts coming up, but if you want to play around with them, you can. Now, something I like to do is I'll pull for the core vehicle mode. I pull the hips back all the way, rotate the hips 180 degrees before you do that, and then there's this joint where they connect to the upper body, and you can rotate them on that joint. So you pick them all the way up, and then you sort of rotate them around. And what are you doing, cat? Cat? No. No. Okay. So then you're going to go folding both of the knees upwards. Actually, before we do that, there are these two flaps right behind the core area of him where the siege port's at the top. Each flap can fold down, and that's going to help us get a lot more motion. Let's go ahead and rotate that hip area back again, because I don't like the waffling being visible, which totally would be if we did that. So we're going to fold the hip area in, and we're going to fold the other hip area into that that spot in his back that had the grate, and each of these hips is going to fold down, or thighs is going to fold down, and kind of give it a little angled look, and fill this little area out a bit. Next step is we're going to come around here to where the head was connected. We've got a little joint there, and it's got a little siege port on it, and we can fold that forwards, and then we're going to rotate this around, and we got to kind of fold everything in on itself. So find these two smooth tetrahedron feeling things. So they have like the core area feels like they are pectoral muscles, big old things. And you can pull both of those up. They are just located on the other side of the siege port at the top of the motion I have. You want to pick those up, and then we're going to kind of rotate stuff in underneath them. So while they're raised up, we can sort of push his neck sections deeper into there just a bit and wiggle some stuff around to make it happen. And then we can pick that up there, and that's going to clip back down. Now his that piece that we plugged his head into, it's been rotated around so the siege port is facing towards the vehicle, and it's going to kind of give it a nose cone, or an emblem on the hood, a hood ornament, if you will. Now we're going to rotate his arms around so that each of these sections is kind of facing downwards, and we did it wrong, so we got to rotate this arm again. Come on, Mr. Arm, rotate, rotate. Whew, this arm does not like rotating. There it goes. Very stiff joints on this, and I do commend it for the stiff joints. There we are. Now that that's folded out, we can come around here and rotate this one around, so we fold out the arms on either side of this kind of vehicle mode, and they have their siege ports facing downwards, and that is what I call the attack hover mode. We can take the tiny gun. Where's the tiny gun at? Tiny gun! No, tiny gun! Where'd it go? Here's the tiny gun. Okay, so we could take the tiny gun and we can put it at the top, and we can take his head and just kind of drop his head in here if we wanted to. That's a possibility, or we could fold. Let's go ahead and put tiny gun in here. So we got tiny gun. Tiny gun's going to plug in, and that's just going to give us a hovercraft vehicle that has a little gun mount on it. And if we don't want to put his head anywhere else, you can kind of just shove his head into this back compartment, because this is like a hover truck. It's got a little spot where things can get stored, and I like that. I think that's a fun little vehicle mode. It's a very easy vehicle mode to achieve, but it is definitely a neat one, and it's important for the fully combined vehicle mode version. Next step, let's do the easy ones first. So fold out the wing on the half a plane arm, and then find the other half a plane arm and fold that wing off. Don't break the wing off like I just did. Fold it out. Let's put this wing back together real quick. It's going to be easy. Just kind of find the connection points. And no, you crazy thing. Come on, you. There it goes. Who's a good half a plane? You're a good half a plane. Now, fold the wing all the way down on either side where it's completely folded around. And then what we do with our half a planes are we match the things together. Let's rotate the hands so that they're not in the way, and then we're going to combine our two half a planes together and hopefully make a full plane if we did it right. Make sure that those elbow sections are folded out as well, and let's line it up. There it goes. Okay, half a plane is together, and this is all it is. It's just you connected 2 points, two of his arms together on the sides, and you get a full little drone plane. Now, you can take off the top piece, that little gun that we put up there, pull up this little siege peg, and now we can sort of combine the half a plane drone with the top of this vehicle mode. There we go. Now his arms are riding on top of him. Yeah! Cool, huh? So let's go ahead and come over around here to his other arms. We're going to talk about the thing that I hate most about him, or dislike the most. I shouldn't use the word hate. I just dislike it. I think that it could have been cooler if they tried it with the wheels being on one side. I think that would have been a lot cooler. But For the wheel ones, go ahead and pick up the elbows to 90 degrees on each side. You'll notice that there are some rectangular pegs and rectangular peg holes on each of them, and they line up with the other arm, and you create this very long car that rolls around quite nicely. But it's very thin, it's very long, and it very much doesn't make sense to me, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But you can pick up the hands on either side, rotate that around, and pick that hand up too. There we go. Now he can hold things and drive around. So it's more like a little gopher utility vehicle, if nothing else. Like if you wanted to, you could. I think his arms. No, they won't be able to do that. But anyway, that's that's just something you can do with the two little arms. Now, do they combine together with this guy in this mode? No, the two arms don't connect. But we can unfold the two arms and connect one, or unclasp the two arms from each other that made the long vehicle, and we're going to connect one into the very front little elbow joint at the front of this odd hovercraft mode that's kind of a hover truck mode, and we're going to take the other arm and connect it to the other side. And now we have wheels on the front. Yeah! Okay, now let's come around here to his last two pieces, not counting the transformation cog. Go ahead and fold down these bits. Now, getting this gun in here is a bit of a pain, because sometimes she wants to connect and do everything right, and then sometimes she doesn't. So what we're doing here is we've got to connect this gun so that there's a siege peg on either side of it, and it's going to fit into an area that's in here on this crazy little thing. So what we're doing is we're just going to try and fit this gun. If you feel one side of each of these tread legs has a siege peg, and then the other side has kind of a divot in the treads. And we're going to put the divot sides of each of these together. And when we put the divot sides together, this gun is actually going to be in the middle of them. And it's going to act sort of like a howitzer. So we just kind of got to figure out how to put it in place on each side and make sure it stays there. So it's actually the wrong way because it's got to stick upwards. It's a howitzer, and howitzers are artillery. So artillery doesn't go down, it goes up, up, up. Gotta reach that massive arc. Okay, so hold it in place, and then come around here with the other one, and we're just gonna combine them together. And hopefully we're doing it right. And we're not doing it right. We're doing it wrong. Okay, now we're doing it right. I realized that we were doing it wrong. Okay, so get this stuff to line up. Should be together now. Yay! Okay, now fold down the knees all the way, and now you've got your artillery gun, and I just broke them in half because I pushed too hard on the little gun barrel. But anyway, that was how you transform these three pieces together to create the artillery vehicle, the big old tank tread vehicle that sticks out the side. Now, let's go ahead and finish this transformation of this guy up by combining his leg elements to the rear here at this joint. Now, for this one, we want to rotate our arm joint, so pull it out away from the body and then pull it back, rotate it around, and that's going to not work. Rotate it again, we'll put it back. Okay, let's go ahead and connect this knee joint to that arm joint there. There we go, connected. Now he's got, we're almost there. We're almost there. Now we're going to take the other leg thing, and we're also going to connect it to that other elbow. Okay, so let's connect it to the other side. Connect me down to the other side. All right, here we go. Perfect. All right, so both of those are connected. Now we can stand him up on his front wheels. Okay, and then we're going to lower these guys down until they're level with the ground. And now we got a very, very unique vehicle, in my opinion. I like how weird this thing is. It's got these big old back treads. It's got the small front wheels. And now we have this gun that we got to put somewhere. And did we already put a gun on the top of him? Yeah, because that's there. Where is his little gun? Oh, there's his little gun and his transformation cogs. So let's go ahead and add his guns and his transformation cogs to the final form of him. So we're going to put one gun on top of the other gun to give us a double gun action. And then on this little part that folded off to the side, somewhere around here, we've got... There it is. We can plug it in anywhere just about, except... Oh yeah, I guess we could. I guess we could, right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick up the elbows there just a bit. And we're going to plug that gun barrel into one of his elbow connections for the little drone bit that sticks off. And now that gun's kind of facing off towards the sky like he is a true artillery vehicle. And then we finally have his transformation cogs. And they can just kind of fit anywhere where you can place them on the vehicle mode. There's a couple of pegs sticking out from the sides. So we're going to go ahead and attach them to those two pegs. Is that a peg, really? Yeah, that's a peg. So one attached. There's one. And then over here we've got the... Where's that other attachment point? Ah, there it is. There it is. Found it. Found it. Okay. Rotate that so the spikes are sticking backwards. And there you go. There is Amalgamis Prime in one of his many weird vehicle modes. He is a unique transformer. And like I said at the start of this, I believe that Nexus Prime should have gotten this treatment more than Amalgamis. Nexus could have had a bunch of tiny drone vehicles that combine together and create their own little things, and then you could do his own... he didn't have a robot mode without the vehicle, without the other vehicles being attached to him. I saw that a few times in Combiner Wars. So my thought process there is, I think they were trying too much with Nexus when they made Nexus an overall combiner, instead of making him one of the drone combiners, where he's a bunch of little vehicles that combine together to create one robot, something similar to Power Rangers or Voltron in that regard. And I believe that would have worked out better for Nexus, instead of making Nexus a robot that combines together with other robots to make a combiner. Nexus could be one vehicle, and then there could be other vehicles that all connected together. That seems like it's more up the alley for Nexus Prime than what we got. But with Amalgamis, I really like it. I think it's fun to have the ability to move your figures around and convert them into many different forms and fashions. This has taken the weaponizer gimmick to a new level. I just wish we had more connectors. That's all I have to say about him. But my overall rating for him will be robot mode is definitely an A+ with just how freaky he is. The transformation is on the A+ level with how everything pulls apart and combines back together. And then finally the vehicle mode is, well, it depends on the vehicle mode that you want to make it. There's definitely parts of it I don't like, but overall I do enjoy it, so another A+ there. This is an A+, a AAA threat transformer all the way around. And I hope that all of you out there manage to pick yourselves up one and enjoy yours today. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I've been Blind Prime, and this has been our newest cat who's joined us, named Baby Cat. Who's a special little baby cat? You're a special little baby cat. Yes, you are. Thanks again for watching. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.